What's up guys, my name is Ace, and lately there's been a ton of claims online that there's been a lot of serious performance issues within Modern Warfare, some of them relating to input lag, some relating to the response curves and the sensitivity values actually changing on us behind the scenes, and other claims that the aim assist is now broken and it's just not working in various situations. Now, I've had a ton of people asking me if these claims are true and if I can test them and share them with you guys and just get the word out there in the community if they are in fact true. And I haven't really had any time for the past week to get around to a video like this and fit it into my video schedule until today. So let's start it off with input lag. Now, for many of you guys that keep up with the game on Reddit and Twitter, you will have seen this post that was claiming that there was a huge increase in input lag from launch until now. And this one came from the Reddit user Spiritual Biscuit, and with this, he also posted his data on input latency that he's been collecting since launch. Within this data, you can see that at release, he was calculating an input lag of roughly 45 milliseconds, which is nothing really out of the ordinary, not a severe issue by any means, but you can see progressively as we get more and more patches, it seems that that value has been increasing very significantly to the point where we're seeing some values of around like 350 to 400 milliseconds for input lag. Now, I gotta tell you right up front, 350 to 400 milliseconds, that sounds way too far-fetched, but I wanted to go in and do the testing for myself and show you guys exactly what I tested here, so you can see for yourself if these values are in fact true. So what I did is I just set my camera up running at 60 FPS, which is what the game is running at, and I made it so you can see my controller and monitor at the same time, keeping in mind my monitor has a 1 millisecond response time. Now, I also did this testing in both multiplayer as well as Warzone, but this user did mention that within Warzone they were getting a worse response time, so I mainly want to show you guys that. But when it comes to the response time of moving my aim with the analog stick, I started the timer the moment my thumb started moving the analog stick, and I stopped the timer the moment I saw even the slightest bit of movement in-game on my aim. And as you can see here, the delay is 67 milliseconds. Which isn't incredible by any means, but it's nowhere near that 350 to 400 millisecond of input delay. After that though, I also tested jumping, and you can see here I measured a 50 millisecond delay on the jump. So again, nothing too crazy here when it comes to input delay. Now, just quickly showing my multiplayer tests as well. In the first test with movement, I measured a 50 millisecond delay, and then with jumping, I measured a 33 millisecond delay. So it does look like there is a little bit more input delay on Warzone compared to regular multiplayer, but not nearly to the degree that that Reddit user was stating. Just for reference, I wanted to show you guys what this would look like if we had 350 milliseconds of input delay. Keep in mind, this is simulated, this isn't an actual delay that I'm experiencing, but you can see here, this would be completely unplayable. Like when I press the button, there is a very noticeable pause that you don't even need slow motion for to see before anything happens on screen. You wouldn't be able to aim or move around the map or do anything with this at all. So, based on this really brings into question the testing methods that that person used, or their hardware. It could be that their hardware has been degrading in some way over time since launch, whether that be their monitor, their PS4, their controller, I don't really know. But I highly doubt the average player out there is getting input lag in the hundreds of milliseconds, because that would be immediately noticeable and practically unplayable for anyone. Now, alongside that input delay data that this person shared, there was a very long Reddit post as well, which of course I will leave linked down below, and within that person was also claiming that there were some changes made to the different response curve types. So we have standard, linear, and dynamic. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a super reliable method of testing this to the point where I can give you actual data and show you guys exactly how this works. I can just go based on feel. And I did do some testing on this pre-patch. I personally play on standard, but I did do some testing with linear as well as dynamic. And post-patch, I did some testing as well. And as far as the feel goes, standard does feel the same. Linear feels the same as well. However, dynamic might have changed. I actually feel like dynamic might have changed at some point, possibly with the patch that we got that brought the dead zones into the equation. And I'm not necessarily saying that dead zone is the cause of this. I feel like maybe when they introduced dead zone, something else got changed, whether that be intentional or unintentional. And I will say, just based on feel, something does seem different here. But again, unfortunately, I don't have any concrete data or evidence to support that. That's just based on feel. But that's the first part I wanted to cover. The next thing is, very recently, there's been a lot of people mentioning a loss of aim assist, or just bugged out aim assist, where it's not working horizontally, but it's working vertically, or it's just straight up not working at all. And many of the people that are claiming this are actual professional Call of Duty players. And this first one comes from Parasite. On Twitter, he made this video clip here that was showing that there's apparently no aim assist horizontally, but a ton of aim assist vertically. And this is with the standard aim assist setting. And you can see his testing method here on this specific spot on Hackney Yard. And it looks like that might actually be true. And this definitely surprised me when I saw this initially. But then I went in and did some testing and reminded myself on how the aim assist actually works in this game. And I actually don't see any issue here whatsoever. Now, the first thing I want to point out is initially he was using hipfire and testing the hipfire aim assist while swaying side by side over his target, and then he aimed down sight to show that there was vertical aim assist as you're aiming down sight. The first thing to point out here is your aim down sight aim assist is significantly stronger than your hipfire aim assist, and that's no different from when the game launched. So right there, that kind of skews the perception of that a little bit. But on top of this, something you have to remember is with the standard aim assist profile, there's kind of like a bubble surrounding the enemy character model, and it actually extends pretty far beyond the character model. And this bubble is vertical because the player is standing up, and they are taller than they are wide here, so of course you are going to get more of a slowdown for a longer period of time while vertically sweeping over your target. Another thing I wanted to point out is you completely lose hipfire aim assist beyond 25 meters, so you won't get any aim assist whatsoever unless you're aiming down sight beyond 25 meters. However, I did measure this exact distance, and it turns out this was 16 meters. So yeah, there is a little bit of horizontal aim assist there, and if you move your aim more slowly across the target, you can definitely feel this. But if you're sweeping really quickly across your target, you will hardly be able to see the aim assist, because you're just sweeping across it so quickly, and the hipfire aim assist is quite weak and always has been. I compared this to my aim assist testing at launch, and it was exactly the same then. But that's not the only aim assist clip that blew up within the community lately. This next one is from Zaptius on Twitter, and he's apparently showing that there is zero aim assist here, and he's wiggling his aim back and forth over this target using the standard aim assist setting once again. And this one was much more obvious the first time I saw it. Like I said, standard aim assist creates a bubble that extends pretty far beyond the edges of your character model, and it slows your aim down within that bubble. Now, this slowdown doesn't suddenly strengthen as you get closer to your target. It's a flat slowdown as long as you're within that bubble. And in this clip, his aim never leaves that aim assist bubble, and therefore his sensitivity value will never be slowed down more while being in this bubble. And therefore, this shows no issue whatsoever with aim assist. This is how it always works. If he would have been sweeping his aim further away from the target and then back onto target, I bet you 100% he would be seeing the standard aim assist working as intended. So yeah, there you guys have it. I know a lot of people have been asking me to cover this kind of stuff, and a lot of people have been claiming how broken this is. And it turns out most of what I've been seeing here that people have been asking me to test is just flawed testing and a misunderstanding of how things actually work and always have worked within this game. Having said this though, I definitely agree with the sentiment that something changed, not with the most recent update, but the update before that. Something definitely did feel different, and for me, it seems like this was on the network side of things. I actually took a break away from Warzone for quite some time because I just felt completely useless suddenly, and it was like somebody flipped a switch where everything was totally fine, and then we got that update, and since then, I just couldn't kill anybody, and it felt like I was dying in 1 or 2 bullets, even when I had full armor equipped. Now that we got the most recent update, that seems to have actually been fixed for me, or at least based on my initial experience. It's been only a little bit of time since that last update, but so far, everything feels a lot better than it has been for the past 2 weeks for me. On top of this, I did want to mention that a lot of the complaints I've been seeing have been from people that use a dynamic response curve. And therefore, I do feel that kind of backs up that feeling that I have that the dynamic response curve was actually adjusted in some way in an update a couple weeks ago. So I'm not denying the fact that something feels different for people out there, and I'm not saying like, oh, you're just wrong, and I'm definitely not here trying to be a white knight for the game by any means. At the same time, though, I feel it is important to dispel some of these misconceptions and these questionable testing methods to show you guys what actually changed and what didn't. Because if there is something we need to complain about, we should at least know what we're complaining about so that the developers know what they can change. If there happens to be any devs watching this right now, I would really appreciate if you could have a look at that dynamic response curve to see if something has changed when it comes to that. Because I do think it's possible that something has been adjusted there behind the scenes. But with that, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. I would like to know in the comment section below, have you guys noticed something changing within that update from a couple weeks ago? Does it feel different in some way to you as well? And if so, are you using the dynamic response curve or one of the other ones? Just let me know those thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.